Let's see what is. I'm live. Okay. All right. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. So I wanted to come on here. I don't want to be on here long. Hopefully, I won't be on here long. But I wanted to just have a conversation about carriers, getting carriers, um, and being an independent dispatcher. So I have been seeing a whole of discouraged independent dispatchers who cannot find carriers, cannot get carriers, whatever the deal is, they are getting discouraged. Hey, Bombay, they're getting discouraged. So I wanted to come on this evening. I guess it'll be kind of a remix of encouragement as well as reality. So, as an independent dispatcher and one who teaches, I am aware that there are different styles, different ways that people, tell us to do things. And I wanted to just come on and ask the question, are you ready for a carrier? So let me try to get a little light on the subject. There we go. So when I ask this question, it is not to knock you. It is not to knock, who you're trained with or anything like that. Let me say that off top. This is not a dig. This is coming from the reality of the chair. When I ask, are you ready for a carrier? It will send you back to what you learned in your training. I personally talk about everything. I talk about all the equipment and things. But I know that there are a lot of training and training courses that kind of tell you where to go to get the money. Only work with this equipment. You don't want to waste your time with that, and so on and so forth. But when that happens as a new dispatcher, it's not our reality. I personally have had the most success with a box truck, non-CDL, new authority box truck. That is who I had the greatest success with. I wrote a book about it. Please get it. It's $7.99. It's called Marian and the Box Truck. And I have another book that helps you out with getting carriers, telling you how to interview them. And it's called My Homeboy Said, $7.99. Okay, so here is the thing. When we are told to work with this equipment, it's going to bring you the money that you want. It's going to bring you in $350 a week or more. And then when you get you more of those, you'll make your six figures by the end of the year. Go to the truck stops and put out these ads, and you only need to work with a reefer, a dry van. These are the equipments that'll bring you the money. You're going to charge your 10% on there, all of the things. But here is the reality. This is what I'm seeing. I see a lot of people going, saying that they went to truck stops and they left their information on. Thank you, Bombay. Leave me a review. They left their information, and there's a lot of things that I see. I talked about this before. People have the apps where they're not interacting with people. They just have some kind of way where they're able to send them an email without them giving the information, send them a text message without them getting the information. And it's just, the things. So what is happening is you're going to the truck stops. You're handing out your information, leaving your information on people's trucks. So let's say for whatever reason, you get someone to talk to you. What are you going to say? As a new independent dispatcher, what are you going to say? Because the reality is also this. When We are told in our training classes to target the dry van, to target the reefer. This is what's going to bring you in the money. It's not a reality for a new independent dispatcher because we are trying to approach the majority of the time veterans in the game. These people have been driving and dispatching themselves for a long time, or they've been company drivers, and they are used to a certain standard and an amount of money. As a new independent dispatcher, we don't have the receipts, we don't have the experience, and we don't have anything to offer them that will entice them to leave their current situation. This is the reality. This is the reality. We don't have what it takes, history, experience, receipts, to pull those kind of carriers. Because you're putting your information out there, for whatever reason, somebody turns around and stops. They don't have time. Matter of fact, let me say this really quickly. I was in a negotiation training the week before last with B Logistics, and we got on this subject. He's a carrier, he was a carrier. So he was telling us, he was saying, we got on it for whatever reason, that, people run out here to these truck stops, and the carriers, they're rude, they don't stop. But what if they do stop? What are you going to say? If he say, okay, what you want? He don't have time for, hey, how you doing? The pleasantries. He needs to know what you want. What can you do for me? Why should I come and deal with you? What can you say? What can you say? And I'm not being funny, but you are not prepared. Your preparation is whatever you have been taught to say, but that's not the conversation. If you've been taught to say anything, I give things to say because I was in customer service for 27 years. So I can pull you together a script. I can pull you something off the top of my head. I can do. But what do you say when he says, what? Why should I work with you? Why should I sign on with you? What should I give you 10% for? You have nothing. You need to be able to say, I have worked with, these were my results. This is what I can do for you. This, A, B, C, and D. When I began, I did not have any experience. The only experience that I had was my service, my customer service. When I got my first carrier, it was a hot shot. When they reached out to me, I was honest with them. I said, hey, how's it going? I don't have anything to offer you. They were like, I see you asking questions, answering questions in these groups. I like how you move. And if you don't get any experience, if you don't get any clients, you can't get any experience. So that's how my first carrier was a hot shot. Not because I was out there seeking them. I was out here putting out the knowledge and understanding that I had, and they wanted to work with me. Keeping it a whole buck. Those carriers were 2 CDL carriers. They were out of Texas. They had 40-foot trailers. The husband had been in trucking for 30 years. The wife had been doing it for 17 years. So they pretty much taught me and instructed me on what they wanted to do, how they wanted to do it. They had every endorsement. So they were smooth. My next challenge was a box truck. The best thing that could have ever happened to me as a new dispatcher. They were new. I was new. My interview process is unmatched. My homeboy said will tell you that. Because what I did was I brought that 27 years of corporate customer service into my business. So I have a whole situation, a whole setup before I take you on. You have to know as an independent dispatcher what's going on. So I had my research, I had my knowledge, and I was able to say, okay, you are a new authority. You are driving this box truck and you are a non-CDL. So the reality of your situation is this is what's going on in the market right now. This is how much the rate per mile for what you got going on will be. It's going to be challenging right now in this first 90 days because you are new, non-CDL, and a 24-foot box truck. If I am going to work with you, I'm going to need you to do everything I ask you to do within reason, because we got to get out here and hustle it, because you have the trinity of challenge. I'm willing to take it on, but are you willing to work? Because I'm willing to work with you, but you got to put in, this is what's going to happen. What are you going to do? This is what I need you to do. They were like, okay, we will do that. So in 40 days, we were able to make almost 21 grand. And I wrote a book about it. Again, it's called Marian in the Box Truck. I tell you everything that we did. I tell you the interview process. I tell you who worked with us. I tell you who I set them up with, all of the things, because we need to know. Now, another reason that I said was a blessing for me, because they were new, we were successful. What happened was I learned that I did not want to deal with that again. So in December of last year, I let them know that the second week of January, I would no longer be working with them because I no longer wanted to work with non-CDL. I chose the second week in January because I knew that everything was going to go dead, because I researched the industry. And if I was going to disconnect with this company, it had to be something that made sense and in a time where there was no work for them anyway. So there was no money lost, no food taken off of anyone's table, because there was nothing going on. And in the beginning, I let them know that we're going to work hard. The second week of January, things slow down. So whatever you make in the meantime, in between time, you need to think about that, because come the second week of January, the whole world is not buying anything else until income tax time. So they knew that. They were mindful of that the whole time we worked together. So I put that out there in December. What happened? The second week of January came. That carrier said, hey, I know you said the second week of January you weren't going to be dealing with us anymore. Here is my schedule. I'm going to get my CDL, because you said that you were going to work with a CDL carrier. You were so wonderful to us that I'm going to get my CDL. Not only did he go get his CDL, he now has a power only that I'm getting ready to run for him. So work with what you can. Now, let's talk about that. Now I can approach somebody for a hot shot. I have receipts. I have experience. I can go to, if I wanted to, go to the truck stop and target them and have a conversation with what I can do, who I'm connected with, because I have all of the contacts here that I send courtesy emails to, even though I don't have any carriers right now because I'm doing, other things. But I'm going to have the power only when he get all his plates and his things together. That second experience, that box truck, wrote a book about it. I had to, not only did they have to work, I had to work. I had to get on credit. I had to get off the load board, and I had to get out here by any means necessary. So now I'm able to write a book. I'm able to tell the next person who wants to deal with this or who doesn't know how, this is what I had to do. This is what the carrier is going to have to be willing to do in order to make moves, how they want to make moves. Now my next is going to be the power only. I'm going to learn how to do that. I'm going to move him, and then that'll be my next experience. I have receipts for the things that I can talk about. I can have a conversation with a new carrier and say, this is what I'm able to do. This is the steps that I will take to be able to maximize every opportunity for you to have movement in this next 90 days, in this, while this authority is new. So I wanted to talk to us because we have to get a dose of reality. Yes, we take courses. Yes, we pay our money. But we need to know all of the things. And another reason that I'm on here is I get so many emails, inboxes telling me, I just finished a course and I need help. I just finished a course and I need a mentor. How do I get paid? I just finished a course. How do I get paid? I don't understand this. But again, I was in customer service for 27 years. I was on the phone, I was in sales, I was in QA, I was a trainer. So my thought process when I bring my training programs and my conversations forward are I'm mindful of the things. This is why when I do my programs and what I'm going to have on the 26th, yes, we're going to be in class for 4 hours. Yes, in that 4 hours, we're going to talk about all of the basic things that have to do with it, give you all of the information. And then for 4 weeks, because you remember, I was a trainer in customer service. I know that you don't just give the information and let people go. I'm not going to ask you to pay me $350 and give you 4 hours worth of conversation, and then you're never going to hear from me again. Now you got to ask somebody else, how do I get paid? How do I find carriers? How do I? No, we're going to do this 4 hours together. We're going to gather all this information and let you know what it is you need. And then that following Monday, for the next 4 weeks, you are going to be in an isolated space with me with access to me from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. every Monday through Friday for 4 weeks. Now, I'm not going to force you to contact me. I'm not going to make you do your business, but I'm going to make myself accessible for you for 4 weeks. The reason that is for 4 weeks, because questions happen, things happen, and the majority of the things that happen after that, besides cold calling and how to speak to a broker and use the load boards and things, are situational. So I need for you to get the practice and have the situation, because all the time you don't have questions, but once you start to interact and you come in contact with a situation, I want to be available. I want to walk you through. Another reason that it's going to be Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. This is the time I can show you examples. These are the times that you're contacting brokers. These are the times that you're having conversations. These are the times where you are putting into practice the things that you were taught. I need to be available. And then after your 4 weeks, I have a general group that you will go in where there's other people who have taken classes, maybe under me, somebody else, where you can continue to ask questions as you move forward in your business. So that's what I wanted to come on and talk about. I did not want to be on long, but I want to make sure that we understand discouragement is going to happen. But I tell you, it's going to get better, but you have to have a dose of reality, because you are discouraged because you are moving in a way that's unrealistic to the experience that you have in this industry. I don't know where it comes from or why people think, to me, it's the equivalent as me coming into a company and I'm going straight into a management role and I know nothing about the company. I know nothing about what they do. So yes, I might get the role, but as soon as I come into contact with a situation, I didn't start from the floor, so I don't know how to handle this. No, I got to go out here and ask somebody that's on the floor that is in a lower position than me. And now they're giving me the side eye, because now they know that if they have an issue, they can't come to me because I don't know nothing. That's what I equivalent. This is what I equivalent. My goodness, this is the equivalent for me when people try to come into this as a new dispatcher and go straight for reefers and dry vans, and flatbeds, the money equipment, but they're not equipped to run the equipment. You have to start somewhere. I am not saying that it's not going to happen. What I'm asking you to do is be prepared. Right, Freight Babe. Where is it? Where is it? And let me say this again about mentoring. Freight Babe said over here on Instagram, I hate that some places don't offer mentoring. Where is the nesting process for all of these monies? That's my mindset. I thank God for all of those years of customer service. It was an ongoing interview that prepared me for this right here. You cannot just drop me off, especially on a route that I do not know. All right, Laquita. Yeah, we have to do better. We have to do better. And I encourage those who want to be dispatchers, if you already took something and you're just not getting it, and carriers, please please, please take a dispatcher course. If you want to run your own truck, do this. If you want to have an idea of what a dispatcher should be doing for you, do this, because it is my desire that we are all in the same room, listening to the same voice, saying the same things. Everybody has their own way. Everybody has their own experiences. But me personally, I move, operate, speak, teach, whatever the word is you want to call it, from experience and application. I brought that 27 years of what I know into my business. So when I get people that ask me, oh, you only been doing this for a year, I was 27 years, because the majority of what we do is service, customer service, sales, admin. I did that for 27 years. So all I needed to do was implement what the transportation industry does. Make sure I research, read, learn what the transportation industry needs me to do with what I already know. So it's not my fault that it didn't take me 20, 25 years to be able to tell somebody else what it is that's going on. It's not my fault that, people are still continuing to pay for more education or bashing other people. I don't do. And one time somebody felt like I was teetering on that. I accepted her telling me that's how she felt about it. I reevaluated myself, and I said I make sure that I choose my words carefully and that I'm not bashing anybody else or anybody else's program or situation, because that is their experience. But what I'm finding and what I know in my God-given ability to be able to read people, excuse me, my God-given ability to be able to see people where they are, meet them where they are, tells me that the people that I come in contact with are not ones that need a drop and go. They need the information. They need somebody to hold that, to walk them through it, and then they're able to step out on it. I cannot ask you to give me anything when I will not give you my all. Not happening. Thank you, Benita. Hey, Benita. Hey, Marian. So I wanted to just come on really quickly and let me just circle it back around. Don't be discouraged as an independent dispatcher if you are not finding anyone immediately. Go back, if you can, hopefully you can, to who taught you the things. Let them know that this is not working. This did not work for me. How can we redirect this? Again, I'm from service, 27 years. So when I was training and I had my training program set up, and I got a classroom, 25 people, and 22 people are getting it just how I'm teaching it, and 3 are not, I will take that 3 and work with them and catch them up. But if I have a class of 25 people and 3 people are getting it and 22 are not, I got to reevaluate my situation, because clearly what I'm doing and how I'm doing it is not being received like it should. So I have to make a change. I have to switch that up. And that's how I present, and that's what I give. 4 hours, 4 weeks. Another thing, I've spoken on this and I'll say it again. If you are not ready to start your business within that 4 weeks, that is what I'm dedicating to you. And then I'm putting you in the general area. It is not my fault that you are not ready yet. So you don't get to tell me when you're ready and then you get to decide if you use your 4 weeks. That's not the offer. Because what we have to understand is we have to respect one another. Respect my business, respect my mind. This is what I'm offering, and it's going to be here. But you don't get to get a return when you get ready. So that's all I ask. Just, but I'm going to give it. I'll give my all. I make sure that I try to hit on things that I'm seeing, because, people still need information. After my consultations, I put them in a group chat to network with others. That's my way of giving back to them. Come on, Freight Babe. Exactly. So I just wanted to come on. Be encouraged. It does get better, but we have to be realistic. We have to, to know our lane. And fresh into the industry, fresh out of a training class, trying to head straight to the top, it just may not be realistic. So this is something to consider. This is not law, just something to consider, that if you've been out here and you've been doing your cold calling, really making contact, reevaluate. All right? Okay, thank y'all so much for giving me y'all time this evening. I greatly appreciate you, and I will check, the comments and things. If you want to rewatch it, you can catch the replay on YouTube and such. I'm trying to, get that going because I want to put a lot more information over there. But thank y'all so much, and it's the same name, Empty Nest Logistics. All right. Thank y'all so much. I greatly appreciate you, and I will talk to y'all later. Download. You're welcome.